It's visible, right?
Yes.
Namaste everyone. I, Pranav Bapar, student of IIT Madras, on behalf of the Vande Mataram family, extend a hearty welcome to our chief guest, Advocate Monika Arora, members of the faculty, students, and distinguished audience. Team Vande Mataram offers deep gratitude to the frontline workers battling the COVID-19 pandemic. We wish that the world recovers from this challenge soon. Our Vande Mataram forum aspires to take the initiatives that introduces and sensitizes the student community about India's rich cultural, economic, socio-political, scientific, and technological heritage, its ramifications today, and the thoughts about the roadmap ahead. In the year 2015, we embarked on a journey in the memory of Sri Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, one of the greatest poets and a nationalist of the 19th century. Sri Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay gave us the divine song Vande Mataram, which played a pivotal role in the growth of Indian nationalism and independence movement. Our national song has inherent nature which facilitates every Bharatiya to visualize and bow down in reverence to the divine maternal imagery of Mother India and inspires everyone to perform their national duty. The shlok from Ramayana, Janani Janma Bhumishcha Swargadapi Gariyasi, which means that mother and motherland are superior to even heaven. This is the philosophy that has kept us going ahead in the last 5 years in this institute, and it strengthens our national consciousness. We have been proudly following the tradition of singing the national song Vande Mataram at the beginning of every lecture. Now I request Sindhuja ji to sing our national song. I hand over the screen to Sindhuja ji.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Shitalam, Shasya Shamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Jyotsnam Pulakitayamini, Ullakusumita Drumadhala Shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, Sindhuja ji. Now I would call upon our faculty advisor, Professor Ramashankar Verma ji, to introduce our chief guest. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pranav. And it was very nice to introduce such an elegant speaker today, Mr. Advocate Monika Arora. Actually, she is a practicing lawyer in Honorable Supreme Court of India, High Court of Delhi, and also in district courts. She has done revolutionaries words introduction in a defamatory word. So from the freedom fighter like Lala Chiparai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and others. So insulting word like militant and extremist has been replaced by revolutionaries. So I think really I congratulate her for giving her a new kind of acronyms for these kind of freedom fighters. To her background, she has done a postgraduate in law from Hindu College, Delhi University, and she represented various ministries. I think a long list of ministries. I don't think any ministry has left. So few of MHRD, Youth Affairs, Sports, Urban Development, Defense, Home Affairs, External Affairs, Information and Broadcasting, Environment, Finance Ministry, and you name it, she is there. She is also represented the military part, Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, Paramilitary, ITBP. Is anything left? Assam Rifles, BSF, CISF, CRPF, in a different related various matters in Delhi High Courts. So she is a founder and convener of the group of Intellectuals of Academicians, which is known as short GIA, and she founded in 1915. And she is a group of professional of women's and entrepreneur media person and academics. So this is basically a women enrolled organization, if I'm right, correct? So with this brief discussion, I hand over to the Pranav and of course our speaker Arora. Thanks, Pranav.
Thank you, Professor Ramashankar Verma ji. This talk will be followed by a brief question and answer session. So I request you all to raise the questions in the comment section of our YouTube live stream. So Delhi riots that took place over the period of 6 days in February 2020, in which 53 people lost their lives, 273 civilians and 108 cops were injured. Apart from loss of life and injuries, the protests and riots also inflicted huge damage to public property, where vehicles, shops and houses of citizens were put on fire by the rioters. The book Delhi Riots 2020, The Untold Story, authored by Advocate Monika Arora, Prerna Malhotra and Sonali Sitalkar. This book describes the untold story of the riots and identifies the root cause behind the events that unfolded in Delhi. This book is available on Flipkart. It is a great pleasure to have Ms. Advocate Monika Arora with us to speak today on the topic of Delhi 2020, Decoding Protests and Conspiracies. The talk will be very enlightening to our student community. I would like to request our chief guest today, Advocate Monika Arora, to deliver the much-awaited talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, Ramaji. I'm honored to be here, Pranav. I'm honored to be amongst all of you. Now, the first question which is always asked to us is that why did you go? And why did you do what you did? Ramaji, may I just say that riots were taking place within 25 kilometers from my house. I could neither sleep nor eat, nor I was at peace, because there were people who were killing people. Nobody knew what was their aim. Why were they killing people? Why were they looting the public property? Why were they disturbing the communal harmony? Who was the accused? Who was the victim? Who produced, directed all these riots? These were questions for which confusing signals were coming from media also. So we, as group of intellectuals and academicians, which consists of professional women, lawyers, professors, journalists, businesswomen, doctors, we always do such fact findings by going to ground zero and ascertaining for ourselves what the truth is. We never have preconceived notions. When we go to ground zero, we try to find out what the ground is speaking. And may I tell all of you that when you go to that ground situation, the situation speaks for itself. The victims speak. Each and every brick of that place speaks. They tell what they would have undergone. So when we reached there, about 5 of us, all 5 women, consisting of this entire group, we went there, and over a number of days we went there. We met victims. We heard their sordid stories. We saw the witnesses who told us from where rioters had come. What did they do? What slogans were they chanting? What kind of groups were supporting them? So all these things we wrote in form of a fact-finding report. This is the fact-finding report which we submitted to Government of India in about, March, April itself. And when we submitted this report to Government of India, we told them that these were not sporadic riots. This was a pre-planned conspiracy. And there has been foreign funding angle also. There has been terrorist PFI's angle also. Please investigate. Our report was there in public domain for about 3, 4, 5 months, and nobody could question it. Reason was each and every page, each and every line which we mentioned, we had the video, we had the audio, we had the photograph, we had the interview for that. Because what we were speaking was truth and only truth. People told us, Monika ji, Sonali ji, Prerna ji, why don't you come out with a book? So we said, all right, we will make this entire report into a book. And hence, we brought this entire sordid tale of riots in form of this book, Delhi Riots 2020, The Untold Story. Now, who will publish the book? That was the question. We went to a number of publishers. We showed the manuscript, and out of that, Bloomsbury was the publisher who said, yes, we are interested in your book and we will publish your book. They entered into a contract with us. They signed a contract, and they legally vetted each and every word of this book. They published the book. They gave us about 100 copies of this book. We gave these copies to our friends and known people, the authors, writers, telling them to kindly review the book. And we had our launch program of this book, India launch. That was on 22nd of August. But half an hour before the launch, when I was about to enter the Cisco WebEx link, I got a call from Bloomsbury, India, that ma'am, some jokers have been tweeting and tagging Bloomsbury UK and pressurizing them to withdraw the book. I said, why withdraw? You have yourself gone through the entire book. Why withdraw? This ma'am, we don't know who these people are, but they're important people. And they are telling Bloomsbury UK not to go ahead with this book. And we are going to withdraw from this book. I said, don't do anything of that sort. This is your book. You can't abandon your own child. And let me go and do the launch, and then we'll come back and talk. During the launch, they announced that they are withdrawing from the book. Until that time, this book had become #1 bestseller on Amazon. People were buying this book like crazy. And suddenly, to hit the sales, Bloomsbury, India, under the pressure of Bloomsbury UK, which in turn was pressurized by this, now I'll call, urban Naxal jihadi ecosystem, they withdrew this book from Amazon. Now people wanted to buy, but there was no place to buy. What to do? Then people started tweeting us and tagging us and telling us that, ma'am, the book is not available. So after the launch, we wrote a letter to them, Bloomsbury, India. We told them that we had the best of relationship with you. What's the problem? Why have you withdrawn from this book? It's your baby. You vetted the entire book. Your legal team has scrutinized it. Why are you withdrawing from us? No response. Nothing. And they did not properly respond for next about 1 month. What to do? The book had to be sold. Otherwise, the book was being crushed. This was like killing the fetus as soon as it was delivered, or in fact, about to be delivered. So what to do? We asked social media. So social media, people told us, go with Indian publisher Garuda. We signed a contract with Garuda there and then on 23rd of August. And we went with Garuda. Garuda simply posted the Hindi and the English cover page on its website on 23rd of August at 8 p.m. And overnight, we sold 15,000 copies. Thereafter, till now, approximately 50,000 copies have been sold of this book. So it has already hit the record. But, there are few questions which remain unanswered. Few questions, maybe those people who were trying to crush our right to write, they have been exposed. So these questions have also come in public domain. So first question is, and very important issue, that who are these people who did not want this book to come about? Now, I call them urban Naxal jihadi ecosystem. They're anti-India, they're anti-truth, they're anti-constitution, they're anti-equality, they're anti-liberty, they're anti-dignity. And who are these people? If you just connect the dots, Swara Bhaskar, that Bollywood heroine, she started tagging and tweeting and telling Bloomsbury UK, come on, how can you publish this book? Then Nidhi Rajdhan of ND TV, now she's teaching somewhere. She started tagging, this is New India, this book will come. Thereafter, Atish Tasir, who has been there in the hall of notoriety because of his article in Times magazine when he wrote Modi Divider in Chief, and thereafter Prime Minister Modi won with a landslide victory. He said, Bloomsbury, how could you publish such a book? Every author has a place. Every book has a place. And thereafter, William Dalrymple, who is the co-founder of Jaipur Literature Festival, he said, yes, Atish, I'm doing it. That is, I'm trying to stop this book from being published by Bloomsbury. Then the Saket Gokhale, that RTI activist of Congress Party, he said, wow, champagne, and we are successful in getting this book cancelled, almost cancelled. Such were his words. He was partying. So who are these people? These journalists, these authors, these writers, these Congress activists who who were some people called Atish as, these extremists. Some people called William as these colonial mindset people. Who are these people? Ye rishta kya kehlata hai? What is the linkage between them? How all of them suddenly started tweeting and tagging and pressurizing the publisher to withdraw from this book. Why were they afraid of this book is the next logical question. Now, what did we say in our book? If you simply see the contents of our book, the contents of our book clearly say that we have about 6 chapters, then conclusion, and then the 8th is ground stories and narratives of pain. Now, the first 2 chapters in the book, we concentrate on what is the theory of urban naxalism and jihadism. And all of you as students must read these 2 chapters. Why I say so is because when I see Black Lives Matter campaign, when I see the riots in Sweden, when I see the riots in Bangalore, when I see Delhi riots, when I see events in Hathras, somewhere or the other, if you see, the slogans are the same, the people are the same, leftists are found here, somewhere this jihadis, the extremist radical elements, they all are there, and they are trying to exploit the fault lines. They are doing rioting, they are blaming the system, and they're trying to have social disturbances caused in the countries. They're leading to social disruptions. So in that context, the first 2 chapters are extremely important. First 2 chapters talk about theory of urban naxalism and jihadism. Now we are quoting the Maoist documents. Are they afraid of their own documents? We are quoting the Maoist document, Strategy and Tactics of Indian Revolution. This is CPI Maoist Party document of 2004. And what does this document say? Students must pay attention. This document says that the ultimate aim is having Indian communist revolution, and it has to be a bloody revolution. People's war is being fought in the jungles. We are in the dominant position over there. We are having parallel courts, kangaroo courts that is. We are having parallel governance systems. We are there powerful in the jungles and tribal areas. But target the urban areas. We will get the cadre, the leadership, the people with capabilities from urban areas, from universities, from colleges. We will get the funds, the foods, the medicines, the trained people, and the technical support from urban areas to support these naxals. Hence, we call these people who justify those naxals in the jungles as urban naxals. Now, this document says that we CPIM Maoists, we have the front organizations of lawyers, of professors, of journalists, of NGOs, of human rights activists, of civil rights activists. What is our method? Our method is create unrest, go and work in slums, work amongst the farmers, amongst the labor, amongst the youth, among women, among the working class, among the minorities, work amongst them. What are target groups? Target groups are Dalits, Muslims, women, because we have to create this narrative of Hindu versus Muslim, upper caste versus lower caste, man versus woman. What are these fault lines? So these are the fault lines between, for example, Hindus and Muslims, upper caste and lower caste, man and women, Arya and Dravid, and take up their causes, instill them with hate, and thereafter take up their causes, instill them with hate, and create unrest against the system, against the government, against the idea of India. And who are your enemies? Number one, they are army and fascist Hindutva forces. This is the document of CPI Maoist. This is their strategy and tactics of Indian revolution. These are their methods to create disruptions in society and thereafter bring about a bloody revolution. We quoted these documents and we said how in universities like AMU or Jamia or JNU, on simple things like fee hike, a small incident regarding any girl that is blown out of proportion. It becomes a national problem, and the issue of fee hike goes to a periphery and central issue becomes how dare the policeman touch inappropriately the girl. The issue remains elsewhere. And one after the other, they try to create this man versus women narrative and other narratives in the society. Now, the third chapter, which we say, thereafter, from the third chapter onwards, we say that Delhi riots was their theory enacted into an action. This was their action area. It was a pre-planned conspiracy. This was dharne se dange tak ka model. How? Because we talk about Citizenship Amendment Act. We say that this act was validly, legally passed by the Parliament of India, having majority, and this act has not been stayed by Supreme Court also. This act simply says that the neighboring three Islamic countries, that is Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh, and there those tortured minorities, that is Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians who have been living in India for the last 5 years as refugees. They have been tortured because of religious discrimination. Now they have come to live in refuge in India. They are saying we were always Indians. You, Congress, you divided the country. We became Pakistanis overnight. We have been prosecuted. We want to come back to Bharat. And we have been living here for 5 years. Will you not give us citizenship? Modi government said, we will give you citizenship. That's all. This act does not affect any religion. This act does not affect any Indian. It's only dealing with and giving so kind of a reprieve to the persecuted minorities of three Islamic countries. That's it. But misinformation campaign was spread by these urban naxals and the radical jihadi forces in colleges and universities. Just about 10 kilometers from my house, in New Friends Colony, there were protests. There were protests which were bad. We had not seen these protests in the last about 40 years. In these protests, the buses were burned. The students' movement was hijacked by these radicals and politicians and the communists. And what they did was they threw acid bombs, the petrol bombs at the police. Too much of vandalism was there. And when the police lathi charged them, they went to the Supreme Court and High Court, who said, you stop this danga, you stop this rioting, and then we will give you any kind of reprieve or relief. Thereafter, they changed their strategy. They had women and children in front in Shaheen Bagh. What was Shaheen Bagh? Totally an undemocratic, illegal movement. They encroached upon public places. People who had to commute from Delhi to Noida, which takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour, it took 3 hours for them. The children could not go to schools. Patients could not go to hospitals. The people could not go to their work. In fact, ambulance got stuck in these traffic jams. And these ladies were asked, what is CAA? They didn't know anything about it. It was totally manufactured movement by these urban naxals, putting women and children in front. They had the constitution, they had the Tiranga on the stage, but that's it. What were the kind of speeches? The speeches were anti-Modi, anti-Shah, anti-India, anti-Hindu. That tone was there. What were the slogans? Slogans were, Tera mera rishta kya, la ilaha illa, Hinduon ki kabr khudegi, Hindustan ki dharti par. Such kind of slogans were there, hate slogans. And now the posters were there where Ma Kali was there in burqa. Now I also have a bindi over there. So posters were there. Those Hindu married women were there with bindi in a burqa. All media was not allowed. Only their chosen media was allowed. It became like Republic of Shaheen Bagh, where Indian law was not applicable. Indian people could not go there. So that road was held to ransom. Radicalization of people took place. I think all of you would have seen 6-year-old, 8-year-old kids. They were saying that, we'll kill Modi and Amit Shah. Why? Because we have been told that he will send us, Modi and Amit Shah will send us to concentration camps where we'll not have food, we'll not have any clothes to wear. Remember Salman Khurshid ji and his talk with a small child in the lap of his mother or father? When Salman Khurshid ji was talking to that child, and the child was saying, हम छीन के लेंगे आजादी, तुम जेल में डालो आजादी. And he was laughing. Here is the former law minister of the country supporting such secessionist slogans and such brainwashing of small children who know nothing, who can only say Amma and Appa. They know nothing, but they know what is Azadi because of radicalization and because of hatred given by this urban Naxal jihadi group. Now, there people had free food. I remember an intern came to me and I told my intern in court, I said, you please do research on Shaheen Bagh. I need to write about it. He said, ma'am, you asked me. I went to Shaheen Bagh last Sunday. I said, why did you go to Shaheen Bagh? Oh, ma'am, just to see what was the theatre about. I said, what happened? He said, ma'am, I got 500 rupees for being there for 8 hours. I got free biryani, mast biryani, he said. That is the vegetable rice there. And it was free of cost entire day. He said, but ma'am, that environment there was not good. It was not good for this generation. So this was what my law intern told me. Now, when this Shaheen Bagh experiment was also not successful, they had aimed that when Amit Shah's or Delhi government's police, they will attack these ladies, they will internationalize the entire issue as if Modi government is against the women and democracy also. But they were never lathi charged, so then they changed the strategy. They almost reached outside our houses in form of long protest marches calling Hum Cheen ke lenge Azadi. Outside temples they started gathering and saying Hum Cheen ke lenge Azadi. Normally, these student activists, along with burqa-clad women, we all saw it, we all witnessed it. Still, nothing happened. Yes, people were terrorized. People living in their houses were terrorized. But still, nothing much happened on the ground. Then finally, the riots came. That's the last chapter of our book, the fourth stage. 22nd of February, midnight, these girls from colleges, they were leading this mob of burqa-clad women. Hundreds of such women, they blocked the metro station. Then thereafter, this was 2 o'clock at night. Then 6 o'clock in the morning on 23rd of February 2020, they blocked the entire main road of Jafrabad, northeast Delhi. And when Chakka Jam was there, people couldn't go from here to there, and then rioting took place. This is Dharne Se Dange Takka model. They chose such places where there was about 60% population, which was of a particular group. Now, planning was there from beginning only. There are ED reports which say that PFI had funded the anti-CA protests, giving the amount of rupees 120 crore rupees for these protests. PFI offices opened near the dharna sites. PFI people funded the food, lodging, boarding, everything at these dharna sites. We met the victims also. We met Dinesh Kumar Khatik, who was a Dalit. He had simply gone out to get milk for his children. He had 2 small children, wife and 2 small children. And from the rooftop of Rajdhani school, that snipers, they shot a bullet into his forehead and he died at the spot. His children were very small. They were in the lap of his wife. We met them. We tried to help them. Then we met Vinod Kumar Kashyap, another Dalit family. Now, he had simply gone to get medicine for his grandson. And suddenly a mob of about 200 people came shouting Allahu Akbar. And just like Syria, they threw stones at him and he was stoned to death. His dead body was there on the road for the entire night. And the people who say Jai Meem, Jai Bhim, this was a jihadi mob. They never saw the caste. They never saw he was a Brahmin, a Dalit, or Bani, or Kshatriya. They saw that he was a kafir and he had to be killed. That was the mentality, and that is the mentality of any extremist or radical element. We met Preeti Garg. Preeti Garg was cooking in her kitchen on the first floor, and suddenly she saw entire house was up in flames. She saw down from the balcony, all the neighbors and others were running. And she told and requested and prayed and begged her neighbors, I'm throwing my children from the first floor. Kindly hold my children so that they don't die. My entire house is up in flames. So she threw 9-year-old son. The neighbors caught him. Then she threw 11-year-old son. The neighbors caught him. The children were saved. But now also they are being treated for trauma. Preeti Garg told us that I was singing Constitution to them 2 days ago. And I had taught them right to equality, that we all are equal in the eyes of law. But now I can't teach this Constitution, right to equality, to these children of mine, because at night they get up and they say, ma'am, mama, ye gande log phir to nahi aa jayenge. These bad people, I hope they don't come again. So this is the trauma the people felt there and had to undergo. Now in the annexures, we have put annexures as in the book, the medical report, the post-mortem reports, the FIRs of riots. That riots took place from December onwards. Police were containing them at various places, but they went out of control from 23rd of February. Now, 3-4 more issues I like to flag here. The second issue becomes freedom of speech. Now, I am the standing counsel for JNU. I fight cases for JNU. I remember some directionless students in JNU a few years ago. They had this cultural evening celebrating commemorating the death anniversary of Afzal Guru, the terrorist. And what they were saying, Afzal hum sharminda hai, tere qatil ab tak zinda hai, Bharat tere tukde honge inshallah, Pakistan zindabad, Kashmir ko chahiye azadi. They were saying that Afzal Guru was wrongly hanged. They were saying Supreme Court judges are murderers of this terrorist. They were saying Kashmir should be separated. They were trying to create a caste war between Dalits and the Brahmins. Are these students? But they said this is freedom of speech. This is Abhivekti ki Swatantrata. Then we had this rally in Mumbai Azad Maidan, which was supporting Rohingyas. And they demolished the freedom fighters memorial Amar Jawan Jyoti there in the name of freedom of speech. Then there are certain authors who have wrote books on Gujarat riots, and they have become international celebrities authors, but Supreme Court trashed their books, saying this is simply conjectures and surmises, this is politically motivated, just guesswork. But they had freedom to write and freedom of speech. You had Sharjil Imam, who said Bharat should be cut from the chicken neck so as to remove Assam and Northeast from India. People said he had right to freedom of speech. Prashant Bhushan, who's there in a few cases against me, Prashant Bhushan, he said Supreme Court killed democracy. The judges are corrupt. Still people said this is freedom of speech. But we three writers, when we try to write whatever facts we saw on the ground, and we say that hum kasam khate hain. We say on oath that whatever we are saying is truth, truth and only truth. But we had no right to write. Why? Because our freedom of speech has been crushed by this lobby of urban Naxals and jihadi elements. It is not for the first time. When they become masihas of freedom of speech, it is only their freedom of speech. They don't want any other person to have free speech. Their free speech is their free speech. And in the name of freedom of speech, they want to defame the country. They want to defame its culture. They want to defame the army, everything. And then they say on Twitter, hum dekhenge. They literally threaten the government. They threaten the Supreme Court. They threaten anybody and everybody, hum dekhenge. But the country is saying, hum tumhe dekh rahe hain. Now, one thing more I want to say here, that is the tolerance versus intolerance debate. Now, there is a particular group of persons who in the madrasas are being taught that there's only one true religion, and that is superior to all others. All other are fake religions. Only one and only religion is there, and that will rule. So that is why this intolerance is being inculcated at the childhood level. That's why in Bangalore, when one Naveen writes a Facebook post which was defamatory, and that Facebook post was also in reaction to another Facebook post on Lord Krishna regarding Janmashtami, entire Bangalore, a number of places were set on fire. in Sweden, when they burn a holy book, which should not be there. We must accept everybody as true. But then Sweden was burnt. Then if you have any poster, any kind of a movement, this intolerance is shown there. One Facebook post, one CAA or one holy book burned, and the entire shahar, the entire town is put on fire. But tell us, when Akbaruddin Owaisi says, you remove the police for 15 minutes, we will show how 15 crore people are dominating the 100 crore cowards. You keep quiet. When MF Hussain makes the photos and paints the photos of Ma Lakshmi and Ma Sita naked, you keep quiet. When in movie like PK, you show that Lord Shiv is concealing himself in a toilet, you keep quiet. Can you do this to any other religion? What I say is that India and its culture, it teaches acceptedness. We should accept all religions as true. But you are being given intolerance in your childhood level, and hence from Sweden to Bangalore to Delhi, all the towns are burning, but you don't have the same tolerance towards others. You can say anything and everything about one particular religion, and if they respond to it, you tell how intolerance is increasing in India. You can't have two parameters. You can't have two kind of measuring sticks, You should have the same parameter for everybody. Intolerance is intolerance. Tolerance is tolerance, and acceptance is acceptance. Now, one thing more, I say that this entire journey, the saga of Delhi riots has not ended. I saw the first trailer in Delhi riots. Then I saw the second scene in Bangalore. I saw the third scene in Sweden. And I saw certain kind of, I'll say, glimpses in Black Lives Matter also. Why I say so? The groups are the same. Leftists, communists are everywhere. Violence is there. They're trying to pit one community against the other. Almost the slogans are the same. Who are these people funding? Who are these people who are directing and producing these riots? I believe this is one group whom we call these communists and jihadis, who are trying to have disruptions in towns, in countries all over the world, be it USA, be it Sweden, be it Bangalore, be it Delhi. But here in India, and what I'll say is thanks to Modi after 2014 and thanks to social media, that even we have a voice now. Our voice is not crushed. We also have freedom of speech. Why I say so? Because after coming of Modi, it was not that only one kind of narrative got platforms. After Modi's administration came, they said, we'll give level playing fields to all. Whoever want to say, please say. So we had that level playing field for all. And thanks to social media, that we are not waiting for platforms like a particular NDTV. We are not waiting for platforms like Hindustan Times or Times of India, that if they'll publish our articles or they'll have us on the television, we become big and our voices are heard. No. You have your Twitter account, you have your Facebook, you have your YouTube. And if you talk sense, and if you have substance, and if you have content, and if you speak truth, you are watched, you are followed, you are quoted, and you become a source of inspiration. So what I say, social media is kind of democratizing this entire world. These platforms, which remain captives by a particular ideology, no longer they are captives. You and I, we all can become social leaders if we genuinely say something, do something, and are committed towards something. So thanks to India, I'll say, thanks to this new India, when Bloomsbury withdrew from our book and tried to commit feticide of our book, they tried to kill the book in the womb or on delivery, then this new India rose up, from Bollywood, talking about Kangana Ranaut, Anupam K, Ravina Tandon to others, to authors who literally withdrew their contract from Bloomsbury or tweeted to support us, like Sandeep Deo, Sanjay Dikshit, Shefali Vaidya, Anand Ranganathan, Monica Hallan, Sanjeev Sanyal, Gautam Chikarmane, Amish Tripathi, Chetan Bhagat, to people who could make posters, to making cartoons, to people who could buy, or those people who said, we'll buy 100 books, I'll keep one book and I'll distribute remaining 99 books to those students who cannot buy, all came in our support. They supported us. They became our voice, and they literally took this book in their lap. Today also, do you know, I get so many tweets saying, ma'am, I'll become old. I am just dying to read the book. I want the book. So when we say that English version is out and Hindi version during Navratri, we are launching it. Ma'am, we cannot wait even till Navratri. So, and people are putting the selfies with the book. People are distributing this book. I never imagined that this new India, it wants to know its roots. It wants to know who we are. It wants to say, nothing doing. All these jihadists, Islamists, and the colonial mindset people in form of Atish Tasir or William Dalrymple, we are done away with them. All these publication houses who will publish Arundhati Roy's book on Azadi, or Rumila Thapar's book on essays on dissent, or recently one or two more books who are coming on Shaheen Bagh as a constitutional movement. This new India says we'll rubbish and trash those books. We want to read the truth of Delhi riots. So this new India stands with truth. This new India stands with the Indian culture. This new India wants to know what exactly went behind. And this new India wants to say that Indian publishers, Indian Wikipedia, Indian authors, please write about India, write about us. So I thank this new India, and I only in the last I can say this, that recently we had the Australia launch, we had the UK launch, tomorrow we are having the US launch, we had the India launch, of course. We never thought that way. We only thought that we'll make a book and some people will read that book. But all the Bharat Vanshis throughout the world, they are coming. They're saying, ma'am, we are done away with this ideological approach which just shows the false side of the story. We want to know the truth. Keep on writing. So this is the first book we have written. The second book is it's in the process, and I assure you, till the time we have the capacity, till the time we have the zeal, and till the time we have the strength to stand with the truth, we'll keep on writing, writing, and writing. So in the last, I'll just say this, and I'll wind up my talk, that people ask us that you achieved much. I said no. In the journey for truth, कि जिंदगी की असली उड़ान अभी बाकी है, जिंदगी के कई इम्तिहान अभी बाकी हैं, अभी तो नापी है मुट्ठी भर जमीन हमने, अभी तो सारा आसमान बाकी है. जय हिंद, जय भारत.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful talk. I'm sure the information and insights you presented and told us were enlightening for all of us on this topic. Many of the things we didn't know, and I dare say that the way you spoke today, it reminded us of the late Sushma Swaraj ji. So now we shall have a brief question and answer session. Jiva Keshav ji will read the questions selected from the live comment section. Over to you, Jiva ji.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you for the very insightful talk. We have a brief question and answer session. The questions are presented by the viewers from YouTube channel as well as the Vande Mataram team. First question is from Aditya Ramanji. What role has international media played in inciting the riots? Why New York Times, Al Jazeera, BBC portray India in negative light?
You can ask me the questions. I will keep on writing them and then answer them together.
Okay, sure, ma'am. We have another question from Anjingya Kulkarniji. In Delhi riots, an on-duty intelligence bureau officer, Ankit Sharma, was brutally killed. So was it intentional? Did his killers knew it already that he was working for intelligence bureau, which is usually secret? If yes, have Delhi police found who is the leak who told rioters that Ankit Sharma is an IB officer? Does that mean our IB has someone who is working against India's national interests? And we have a couple of questions from Vande Mataram team also, ma'am. How should we as students from academia respond to such riots that would help maintain peace and harmony? Another question, ma'am. Is there any end to such riots which cause such huge turmoil in the society? If so, how we strive to achieve that?
All right. Now, the first question, I must say it's a very pertinent question. That was international media role in inciting the riots. Today, I have got a WhatsApp from USA, where we are launching the book tomorrow. And that WhatsApp says that the teacher is telling me, ma'am, I told my students who are in class 7th, 8th, 9th to search on Delhi riots and come back with telling me what the facts are. Ma'am, the students told us, the students went to Wikipedia, the students went to Google, and the kind of information these students possessed and had, he said, I was put to shame because Wikipedia and Google, they are totally showing what is exactly the opposite. They're making the perpetrators of the crime into the victim and the victims as if they are the accused. And this is totally contrary to what the courts are saying, what the police is saying, what the police charge sheets are. Because police has given the charge sheets on the basis of electronic evidence, the mobile evidence, all the WhatsApp chats are there, and ignoring all these on Google because of SEO and Wikipedia, they are showing a totally different and distorted story. And I must say that all these people, they are a cartel, as I said, the urban Naxal cartel. This cartel will make this Bilkis Bano come on Times magazine. You know, Bilkis Bano was an old lady who protested in Shaheen Bagh, and she has become one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Maybe if you ask her about CA, she'll not be able to tell you beyond a few lines. And this is a cartel actually which is operating. So that's why I said after coming of more than social media, we must keep on writing. We must keep on doing fact finding. We must keep on exposing these people who are out to disturb the communal harmony. Now, I think New York Times also, to Wikipedia also, we are continuously writing to them. We are giving our report to them. We are telling them what you are doing is wrong. This is totally against the facts. But you know, they have their own agendas. Means, I don't know, money power, ideological power, whatever drives them. But yes, you are pitted against those who do not want to show the facts. That's why I said, whatever you can do, whatever is your capacity, please keep on doing it. Like you said, what to do after seeing riots after riots. These are manufactured riots. Bangalore was absolutely peaceful before. Suddenly one night, it started erupting. And this post of Naveen, when it was done, I think at 11 o'clock at night, how come thousands of people gathered at one police station? There were groups who were coordinating it. So this is not an isolated incident. There are groups who want disruptions in society. I'm not naming a few incidents which are happening nowadays. And in fact, we are planning our fact findings on them also. The same people, whether it's Delhi, Bangalore, UP, you will find the same leftists. You will find the same posters. You will find the same strategy being done. How come? The same people are protesting at Jantar Mantar also. So this is one group which also signed that Modi should not come to power, which also signed when Modi was elected by Indians. They never respected the mandate of people, and what they said was intolerance, award wapsi. It's the same gang which is fighting their last battle. What we can do? Keep on writing. Keep on doing fact findings. Keep on documenting. We have written a recent article, which I'll be sharing with you. That is, we are always told that Mughals were so good. I read somewhere Aurangzeb was a saint. I read everywhere that Akbar was a very benevolent ruler. Then what about Maharana Pratap? What about Shivaji? What about others? So there was a particular group of historians who have always told you and us that you see Mughals were so brave and others were just guerrilla warriors. This is that historical moment when if we don't rise and we don't write and we don't expose them, then tomorrow's generations, your kids, they'll be reading in the textbooks that Delhi riots were caused by you and me. And Delhi riots were just because Modi was in power. They'll show that distorted version of history. They are documenting all these facts, these Arundhatis, these Romila Thapars, and all these peoples. Their books are being published by Penguin, by HarperCollins, by others. But when our book comes, we just want to stop it because they don't want the Delhi riots to be documented in the truthful manner. So attempt is not against Monika Arora or this book. Attempt is that Bloomsbury should not publish a book which may become a reference point for the future generations. They are creating history for the future generations. That's why they are unto a very, very dangerous game. And you may see such riots on such fault lines happening every other day. That's why the youth of this country has to take upon their shoulders to expose these people. We've tried our bit and you are trying your bit. Thank you. Regarding IB officer Ankit Sharma, there are three things. First, Ankit Sharma was brutalized and murdered in ISIS manner. In India, how do murders take place? Normally, I will say, normally. Murder is never normal. Ask the family whose kith and kin get murdered. But they'll either slash the throat, they'll slash your limbs, or they'll shoot you. Ankit Sharma was given more than 51 wounds. When he died, still he was stabbed even after his death. Thereafter, his body was thrown into a nala. Tahir Hussain, the Aam Aadmi Party councillor, he has been booked for murder and he is in jail currently. Now, Tahir Hussain was a person who had been receiving funds from people like Umar Khalid, Khalid Saifi, PFI, and who had been funding the anti-CA writers. Khalid Hussain was in touch with many political leaders and these terror people also. He may or may not know that Ankit Sharma was a IB officer, but then why brutalize him? If there was a riot, in riots you shoot and you run. But here he was brutalized. So maybe PFI, maybe other persons and organizations from outside the India who wanted to defame India when Trump was coming to India on 23rd and 24th and 25th and 26th of February 2020. Maybe at that time, these people from outside India, they knew who Ankit Sharma was. So that's why we always requested the government when we submitted our report that we want NIA investigation because terror links are there. Links of terrorists are there and outside angle is also there. We told them at that time also. So this is a matter of investigation. But yes, the brutal ISIS manner in which Ankit Sharma was killed and the PFI and the outside links, they hint towards the fact that maybe people knew about Ankit Sharma. And maybe Ankit Sharma knew something which these people never wanted to be exposed. Jiva.
Thank you for your most insightful answers, ma'am. We have a couple of questions more from the professors of IIT Madras. Professor Devendra Jalihal has asked this question for you, ma'am. Can you sue Bloomsbury for breach of contract? And we have another question from Professor Sachin Gunthe. Where do you see urban Naxals in coming 10 years? How can we make the young generation expose them?
Thank you, sir, for asking that question. This is the complaint we have given against Bloomsbury. We have given a criminal complaint to the Commissioner of Police in Delhi. We have sued them for criminal breach of trust, for cheating, for mischief, for misappropriation of property, for illegal receipt and retention of stolen property under Information Technology Act, for criminal intimidation and statements promoting enmity between classes, for infringement of copyright. We have sued Bloomsbury Publishing India Private Limited, The Quint, News Laundry, Nandini Sundar, Atish Tasir, William Dalrymple, Saket Gokhale, Arfa Khanam Sherwani, Meena Kandaswamy, and other unknown persons. We've already filed this complaint. They're running from pillar to post, asking lawyers to defend them. And I am thankful to certain lawyers who are not taking up this case and saying Monika was right. You should not have done this to Monika. And secondly, yes, regarding damages, they have to pay the damages. So the case will also be filed against them for damages. We have also filed a complaint against William Dalrymple. For over, I think, 30 years, he has been living in Delhi, and he has been co-founder of Jaipur Literature Festival. But he has been giving certain kind of speeches, which I will say they are not very palatable. And a person on visa cannot say all those things living in the country. And also he tried to interfere in the internal affairs of India by scuttling our freedom of speech. We are the citizens of this country. So William Dalrymple also has to go back to where he belongs. Be assured that right now we are busy with having our book launches throughout the world amongst anybody and everybody who wants to read the book. And in fact, people from South Africa have approached us that, ma'am, we want a book launch in South Africa also. And maybe in November we'll be doing that. So we are busy when making this book reach every hand who wants to read it. But these urban actors, we are not going to leave them. We don't have the reputation of leaving people who are anti-nationals. I must say that. And where do I see them in next 10 years? See, right now these Naxals have been reduced. In fact, the extreme communists have been reduced to certain areas in Kerala, in media, and certain sections in JNU. And believe me, next few years, they have to pack their bags. So they have to go where they belong to. And that is the black chapter of history. They'll no longer be there. Any anti-national, you and we all will expose them. And let the rule of law prevail. Let the constitution prevail. Anybody and everybody violating the Constitution of India, he has no place to live in India. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Following your question, we have a final set of questions. Following your book launch question, we have a question from Aditya Ramanji. Ma'am, can you publish this book in regional languages also? And we have a question from Ankush Mishraji. What is your view on Twitter censoring Indic views? Recently, True Indology accounts was stolen. And final question by Sairaj. The Delhi police comes under Home Ministry. Did Home Ministry then fail to get the whole idea of the conspiracy, or the Shaheen Bagh thing was left untouched due to Delhi elections?
Thank you so much for such insightful questions. I must say the questions are really such which kind of, they egg me to say, Monika, you forgot about touching this aspect. You forgot that aspect. I must thank you for asking such good questions. Already we are bringing this book in Tamil, in Marathi, and I think in Bengali also, apart from English and Hindi. Whoever wants to read this book in whichever language, you have to talk to me, you have to talk to my publisher Garuda, and we will ensure that it gets translated. This truth has to reach every Bharatiya who wants to read it. Secondly, on Twitter censoring, I know I'm a victim of it. Today only I posted a tweet regarding Wikipedia, that Wikipedia, despite telling you and giving you the facts on Delhi riots, you are not removing your distorted article, nor correcting it. The generations of future will not forgive you for this sin. I've told them, And they saw to it that it is not visible to anybody. Hardly you have to go to my timeline to see that article. So they have done shadow banning. But you know, how many Chinese apps were banned by the government? I don't remember. The process goes on. So as I said, if Bloomsbury will get threatened by the urban Naxals, Garuda will stand. If Twitter shadow bans or tries to censor the Indic views, who will come? Some other platform will come. It is time to Indianize everything. It is time to Indianize everything. As I say, Bloomsbury or other publishers, they may get threatened by these bunch of jokers. Bloomsbury called them jokers actually. But the Indian publisher won't get threatened. He has his roots in India. And no matter what, there's some kind of that attachment that he will not be threatened by at least these outside powers. I'll say that. So it's time to Indianize the publication. It's time to Indianize the social media. It's time to have your own Facebook, your own Twitter, your own YouTube, everything, which at least is not biased against India, I'll say that. Third question, MHA. Yes, elections were there. Elections were there, and due to elections, there were a number of equations and permutations, which we don't know, but yes, those things might have been. But let me tell you, if I can say so, that I have been watching all these developments, and since December, we have told in our book also, riots never started only on 23rd of February 2020. There were riots immediately after 15th of December. There were riots at least in 7 places in Delhi, throughout Delhi, and police was trying to stop those riots. So maybe the plan was to have simultaneous riots in more than 10, 15, 20 places in Delhi when Trump was here or even before that. So police has lodged more than, I think, 10 FIRs against people in December itself, that they are trying to create animosity between groups. They're trying to block roads. They're trying to instigate riots in December itself. Police has lodged a number of FIRs. So December, January, February, they tried to have riots in a number of places. Police quelled and stopped and prevented those riots. But one place they couldn't prevent was Northeast Delhi. So there they could achieve their purpose. But if you see from that point of view, because we have the FIRs, we have given the screenshots in our book. Since December, the attempt was to have mayhem in Delhi. That police was able to quell. I think 99% police could do their job. In one place they couldn't do it. And hence 53 people lost their lives.
Our sincere thanks to you, ma'am, for patiently answering all the questions, and our best wishes for your further releases, and our sincere thanks to Garuda Publications also. I now hand it over to Pranavji.
Again, I'd like to express our sincerest gratitude, ma'am. Thank you for coming to our platform and connecting with us live in these extraordinary situations. I'd like to thank our professors, the IIT Madras administration, our student volunteers, and alumni of the IIT Madras family who have given us unconditional love and support for the last 5 years. Now, I'd like to request Sindhuja ji to conclude this session with the national anthem. Over to you, Sindhuja ji.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, Sindhya ji. We'd like to thank our audience. Thank you for your support, and we hope to see you all at our next event soon. Those of you who are interested to volunteer and receive updates, please email us to the email ID mentioned in the description of this video. We'd like to thank Monika ji once again for coming to our talk and express our gratitude. Thank you.